Yeah, on the streams.
Okay, let me check. Okay. Here, I will check the Twitch, and then someone can check YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, on the streams.
Okay, let me check.
Yeah, YouTube works.
Here, I don't know what works, YouTube or Twitch. Oh no, YouTube works.
YouTube works.
Yes.
And Twitch seems to be also. I'm gonna put
Yeah,
cool picture.
everything works. It looks everything works. Cool picture. I don't know what's on. It looks like. So we can start discussing the news or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I will move the first really great topic. I don't know if it's great or not, is that the Apple company already got a 1 trillion capitalization overall.
Yeah.
And yeah, hooray. And there is an article how they did it. And you have, I think, 5 points why they're bad and how they did the 1 trillion. So yeah. Do you have any thoughts about that? And what do you think that I think Apple is the first company in the world who hit that thing, right? Right.
Yeah.
First $1 trillion company this week. Okay. So what do you think about that?
Yeah. Cool. It's sounds cool. I don't have such money. I cannot buy Apple, unfortunately. Oh, maybe fortunately. But like
And they can buy you.
many times. Yeah. So, but basically, this article says about like gray ways how Apple achieves this money and all the critique about Apple being not that nice with customers. And so they saying talking about freight charging cables, buried iTunes subscription cancellation, keyboard claptrap. So I'm not a user of Apple, so I never experienced myself. But like I saw many times the cables problem. Did you experience this problem?
Yeah, I do. I have a problem with my cable. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of duct tape on my cable. So I'm trying to fix it in that way. It does not look super nice, but it works. Yeah, I can feel that. I can feel that issue.
Are you talking about this Apple cables?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always broken, I think.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's kind of awful. Regarding this account things and cancellation subscription, that it's really hard. I agree maybe that on Apple it's super easy to maybe get a subscription or register somewhere, something like that, but it's really tricky to unsubscribe. But I think, to be honest, I don't think that's only seen for Apple. So I think other companies are also doing something like that.
Yeah, well, it's I guess just a matter of cost reduction. So everybody wants to reduce the cost, but with Apple, it's like they are so rich. So and the economy on the cables seems to be, I don't know.
It sounds weird, but if you think you have, I don't know, 10 millions of users and half of them, they have a problem with cables. And now, because of that, you double the revenue because, they already bought a phone, so they would like to buy a different cable. And maybe out of that 50%, you have 20% who would go to a Chinese store, right, to buy the fake, and 30% they will go to your official shop. And so now, from nowhere you have a cheap cost for production, and now you have also, I don't know, 30% of income just from that. Yeah. And yeah.
Yeah, but with the price that they are selling their stuff, they could put some something better in the box.
Yeah, sure. I think so. And Zoe, what do you think? What's your experience with Apple things?
Which thing?
I don't know, phones, tablets, all that stuff. Do you like it so far, or?
The phone I found okay. No problems with it. Yeah.
So,
I want to try maybe a laptop. So I
mhm.
think it's quite cool. So
Yeah, can you imagine having, like, I think if you get the newest version of the laptop, then you would probably have problems with thousands of yeah, kind of like exchangers or dongles, I think it's called, or I don't know. Yeah, so what do you think about that?
the point is that the operation system cannot be worse than Windows nowadays. And yeah,
Yeah,
maybe a
that's
little bit more user-friendly as Linux. So
This sounds like you said that Linux is user friendly.
yeah, why not, you know?
Well, yeah.
no, I mean,
If you know which type of user.
Okay, yeah.
yeah. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure.
It's a balance between Windows and Linux is a Apple OS.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's also, I think, the biggest part of revenue from for Apple, that was some developers or something like that who are buying Apples as a default. I think in 90% now you have um, Apple MacBook as a default for developers, for web development and other stuff. I'm not sure why that happened like that, really. But I think here in Germany you have it mostly like MacBook, but in most cases you have the ThinkPad from Lenovo. But as far as I understood, that's only a special case for Germany. In other countries, you have kind of like MacBook or not laptop at all.
I'm not sure. Like even in USA, I believe it's Apple is not even 50% of the market. But I'm not
Yeah,
really sure.
overall, I'm saying not overall as for every customer, but I'm saying especially in development area, in
Okay.
software development world. For sure, I think in the big market you do not have, because I think there may be most percent of the market you have, I don't know, kids or parents who would like to buy a laptop for their kids or something like that.
One question. So you're having now Apple laptop. Would you buy next one an Apple laptop, knowing all
Oh,
the stuff?
that's a tough one. That's a tough question, I would say. Uh, I would not buy the current one because I think it's too expensive and nothing super new there. I thought about that. I thought if I would like to buy the new laptop with this touch thing, or even with i with this touch bar, or with i9, I think Core i9, they have a new version.
Okay.
But to be honest, that's not something what will force me to buy the new laptop from the Apple. That's not the feature which I would like to have in my new laptop. Maybe I will consider to have the next one also the MacBook, because to be honest, I have it for almost 5 years and I had no issues like glitches or some issues with operating system, some glitches with services, or something just doesn't work, or you have to restart something, or blah blah blah. So it just works. For sure, it's not optimized for, I don't know, games and all that stuff, but for usual software developer life, or just to surf somewhere, do some daily basis stuff, it's completely fine. It's not heavy. I think it's 1.8 or 1.7 or even less. I don't know, somewhere in that range. so I can easily take it with me somewhere to a trip or something like that. And it looks not bad. The screen is nice. So I would consider to have next one laptop also as MacBook, but I'm not sure when, because I think with my laptop I can handle it next 2 or 3 years more, because I don't think I will have more requirements for my laptop. Maybe if they will release something authentic, I don't know, teleportation module or something like that, then I would say, yeah, why not? I will get that.
Okay. So would you
And
consider MacBook as the next laptop for you?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it would be the old laptop Alex. Yeah, I think that I'll want to buy a new, maybe not a new model, I don't know, but it probably will be Apple.
Okay.
And you, Sergey, you'll not
No,
say
of course not.
why not?
Well, first I hate Apple. I don't know why. But seriously, like, I'm really think that, like, for me, like the Apple laptop is overpriced. Like, I would better find something more powerful, more with more features for the same price or maybe less. Because like I'm not don't really like externals of like I don't consider externals of laptop when buying. So for me, it's important what inside, and I don't want overpay for Apple cool look and everything, and who just buy maybe Lenovo. They have a cool new laptop, and I have a Lenovo now, so I'm completely satisfied with it. So yeah,
Yeah,
now Apple.
yeah, but I think it's more or less matter of taste and all those
Yeah.
things, and matter of what you would like to buy. I think maybe like few years ago that would be an argument for me that Apple is overpriced, but now what I've checked from other laptops and also this new Surface Book from Microsoft, in most cases you have a same price or plus minus 100 euro or something like that. Yeah, I think it's currently, I think you have everywhere kind of same price. It's not dramatically more as it was before. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but looks good, sounds good. So
Yeah.
what do we want to discuss next?
Yeah, what we have next?
Maybe we can discuss doing a digital detox. Get over yourself.
Oh, that's an interesting topic.
So you can tell something about that. So
I would like to do a digital detox.
So, short explanation, what's a digital detox for you?
Just to keep all your devices, or at least internet connection off and far from you.
For how long?
So it depends. So for example, 24 hours would be good, but as more as it's better. Depends how long you can do it. For example, I found a good way in a holiday, during the holidays, for example.
Okay.
Nice way to limit, I don't know, at least social networks. For me, it's not a problem anymore, but some people I know they spend much time there, and and also this Twitter, so a lot of messages, and really a lot of messages, and you need to read them all and swap instantly. So swap, and
Yeah.
yeah, like Instagram also swap.
So,
So I think the people need to get rest of it a little bit.
and how often do you doing this digital detox?
So I'm not practicing it,
Okay.
but so like on instantly or organized or planned, but
I,
at
I think
least what you can try to put your phone to charge not in your bedroom but somewhere else in other room, for example, at least.
yeah, I think the closest thing to the digital detox which we had, I would say, this trip to Genoa, when we had no Wi-Fi and you have only mobile internet, but mostly we did not spend so much time doing something with the mobile internet. I think it's cool to have something like that, but you really have to plan it somehow. And I think it's quite hard to plan it to have it in the day-to-day life, especially when you're working and all that stuff, because it's just hard because that's a part of your work, especially for us as software developers. To have a digital detox during the working week, it's just impossible. But to have it during the vacation time or at least during the weekends, that could be a choice. I think that's a nice idea to have digital detox during the weekends, 2 days, no smartphones, no internet, just out somewhere, maybe camping or doing such stuff or grill. I think that's a nice solution.
Um, so you said that you was doing kind of a digital detox while being in Genoa. So how was feeling like internally? What was there an urge to find somewhere connection to see what's happening, or it was completely fine?
Yeah, maybe. Zoya, would you like to tell something about that?
Yeah, you feel a little bit refreshed, so new ideas can came up in your head. You're not consuming the information, and then you can maybe provide your own content. I think this is a point. So you need mm, to stop for some time consuming and try to create maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And what do you think about the digital detox? Will you do it? I don't know, maybe your next vacation,
Yeah,
or
it's probably like usually on vacation I'm quite off the net, like at least during the day. Like I'm usually I can get reach the internet only in evenings when I came home. But it's like I don't know, like it just usually when I go to vacation,
mm,
I going home and meet the friends, and so I just have no time to to reach the internet or phone. So I'm not really sure. Like, is it digital detox when you're doing it like because it just happened to be like this, or without intention? So
yeah, I think about the digital detox as some things in details. Because for me, I would understand that during the vacation you really do not spend much time with phone or something like that. You're more communicating, having fun, but you have a small thing, something like, oh, during I don't know, evening, check the emails or check the Twitter or check something like that, and that still kind of counts, and you're still kind of in that thing, in the internet stuff, in the devices. You are into that digital world, and it's still kind of like way less than before, way less than in day-to-day time, day-to-day work, but it still kind of counts as a digital. So it's quite interesting to have it non-digital completely and just wipe the old reminders of digital stuff or something like that. But for that, I think you have to be prepared enough.
Yeah. I could not remember like a time when I was offline more than like a couple of days. So it's
Mm-hmm.
eventually like
I can
evening or
remember.
something. Okay, when was
I
it?
can remember that was somewhere I was 12 or 11 maybe. At that time, somewhere, last time maybe. And then I just,
Okay, quite a long time ago. Yeah.
yeah, maybe, yeah, I think that's all. No, once it was differently. I think the last time when it was for more than 1 day or even 2 days, that was during my university time when we went somewhere for weird parties or something like that. So yeah, like that.
Okay.
So yeah, but I think that the digital detox is something what you would like to do and what you have to do during your work time, especially for such things like a software developer or the person who is tightly connected to software development. It's kind of a must-have, I would say. So, and what else is digital and a bit toxic? I think it's Google and China. I think both of them. One stuff is digital, another one stuff is toxic. No offense, Chinese people.
Yeah.
So maybe Sergey, you will tell us something about that. What's on, why they're
So
back and why they're away.
allegedly, Google develops a search engine special for China market, where they put a backdoor or something for China government, so they can censorship searches in it. So it's one more news about how Google become bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know, like I'm not really much care about what happens in China.
Oh,
I'm, I'm so selfish. But like it's anyhow like kind of I don't know uh, disappointing because like one could think like okay, Google is a great company, they will do the great stuff, and this sounds like not that great. Like yeah, well, I guess censorship is a bad stuff. What do you think?
yeah, for me, I would say building backdoors is something what it's quite weird, and I don't know if it's I have no idea why they decided to do something like that, but now you can see that year after year, Google is closer to be evil corporation for true. I don't know, because previously that was kind of like old jokes, like, oh yeah. And currently I can really think that I think last year or this year they had this huge scandal with the document signed with American government about AI researches or American military stuff. And now they building backdoors inside their products. And I think the next stuff, what you can really think about that is what will happen to such kind of like different products, because Google is really gathering a lot of our data and all that stuff, and that's for sure shared. And now you can think if they're starting to communicate with government so closely, will it end up, in different ways somehow. Maybe they will start to think, oh, maybe we'll analyze more data of our users and give more stuff to our customer, to the government. Yeah.
Yeah, China government.
I think if you've started with one government, it's not so hard to
Yeah.
start communicate with another government.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting how US government would react on this. Like, would they like this idea that Google works
For
together
sure, they
with
would like
China?
that. You know, I think they already sent some nice emails to Google.
Good,
I
good
don't know,
work.
something like, "Hey guys, I've heard you're doing the backdoors like for free. Maybe we can have a deal."
Yeah.
And yeah, Zoya, what do you think about the backdoors and products and leaking data to the government?
Oh, yeah, it's hard topic. I don't know what the government do with this data.
Well,
So
actually, I
who
believe
knows it?
it's not about what government would collect, but what filters on the searches government would can apply. So what would see the people once search through the Google?
Uh, so I think what will happen nowadays, you will get this window and with the question, are you agree with all of this stuff, and you just click yes without reading, and then all your data is somewhere else, but you have for your own clicked OK. So
Well,
Yeah.
I believe in China, like they click the OK when they born.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's completely true.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
but
has really a lot of power for Google, so it knows too much.
yeah, I think so. I'm currently I'm not seeing any nice reasons why Google is doing sometimes the weird stuff. They are trying to. It's still, if you will check also their open source project and all that stuff, it still feels that they're like pro open source company and they're trying to invest a lot of that, but they're trying to invest a lot in the open source in order to control it more because you can see every project which is somehow connected to the Google and that's open source. They're trying to dominate all decisions inside that without allowing people to do something there. And that's what makes the thing scary because if they want to control everything and they have the power to control a lot of stuff, then you really need opposite power to that. And I even don't know. So what can it be? Because I don't see maybe Apple or something or Microsoft as opposite nice power to the Google.
Yeah, I don't know. They would opposite with Bing, but like I believe Bing is not blocked in China. I'm
I
not
don't
totally
know.
sure, but I'm heard something about this. But if it's true, it means that they already working with China government.
Yeah,
So
it's blocked. You can access Bing only with
it's blocked. Okay.
in 2014. Yeah, you can only use VPN. So yeah, it's unfortunately or luckily for them, I don't know even what to say there, but it's blocked. So I just want to say that stuff which Google does, it more or less it builds more the bad uh, character around the
Yeah.
Google. It builds more bad feelings around that, and they're moving really the Google into this evil corporation and stuff. And I'm not sure if it's somehow good for the image of the Google. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What's also about U.S. and China and technology and use is uh, Democrats. I don't know what's this DNC like. Democrat National Committee is. I guess it's uh, kind of government main Democrat government committee in U.S. Uh, suggest to their members to not use Chinese phones. So somewhat interesting seeing how this China-US relationship are working in the technology perspective. Like Google goes to China, and China communication companies are forbidden in US. Well, it's not really a ban now, but it's a recommendation not to use this stuff, like in government, in Democrat, at least for
Yeah.
Democrats. But like there was a problem with the TA last, I guess it was 3 or 4 months ago, when US wanted to ban ZTE completely in US because they apparently provide technology to Iran and probably Korea, North Korea, and it almost destroyed ZTE. Like they were on the brink of bankruptcy. So yeah, just another news topic regarding this U.S. and China relationship.
Yeah,
Do you have
for me,
something to say about this?
yeah, the one interesting part here that they said, I think somewhere I read in this article, so they are not allowed to use any Chinese phone or some Chinese smartphone, and now they are not allowed to use Chinese smartphones because for work and personal use even. And I think they're also not allowed to use Apple because Apple doesn't want to cooperate with US government to build a backdoor in the phone. And what they have to use now, I think the only left phones is, I don't know, Nokia or something like that.
Apple.
Because I just said Apple is not, also, I think, is banned because they don't want to cooperate with US government. So I think also I heard about the same post about 1 or 2 years ago when Apple declined a request to inbuild a backdoor in iPhones for fighting the terrorism or all that stuff. So yeah, that's interesting. So now if you are a part of Democratic National Committee, you have to use a Nokia 3310 or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's weird. It's better not to be a part of democracy stuff.
Yeah. Would you use Chinese phone if you know that Chinese government reads all your messages?
No, it's enough that the German government reads all my messages.
And would you use Apple iPhone if you know that all messages are read by US government?
I don't know. I don't have any weird stuff in my messages, so I don't think that someone else would try to read that. Even if you would try to read that one, I think it's not something what they are interested in because I do not sell drugs, do not sell weapons. I think do not sell. I do not sell even alcohol.
I believe all drug dealers says this.
Yeah, that's true. On the other hand, that's true. So yeah, they can try, but it's for sure that it feels a bit scary that someone can read your private messaging and all that stuff, and that feels like, is it right stuff? Is it the right way to go? On one hand, you can say, okay, we are trying to defend our society with such things, because then you can really read some messages from, I don't know, some terrorists or something like that. But on the other hand, you're breaking the privacy. Don't know. So I think it's a tough conversation, but I don't know. And Zoya, what do you think? Would you like if someone will read your private messages as a government?
This question sounds like I need to answer no.
Yeah, it's true. It's completely sound as no.
And if they would read it and correct spelling, Would you agree for this?
I have iPhone. It's doing already that, or maybe it's government. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
It
Yeah.
then gives a lot of possibilities to government to judge you somehow for what you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was, I guess it was already 2 years ago, like US started to like to ask people on the border to give their account names, not passwords, but just account names, to see what like in Facebook or other social media, to see what this man writes in social media, and what he writes is can stop him entering the US. And if he refused to give his account names, also it could lead to refusing to enter US. I'm not sure if it's still the case, but like it was a big news topic at the time. But yeah, it's well basically what would happen when government would check all your messages. Yeah, they would think if you're okay to enter the country.
Yeah. I'm seeing from weird stuff about China and, and the US government and their problems. Luckily for us, we do not have such problems. But I think we can move to the topic of the week. Let's call it like that. I don't know. We will move to how to build a perfect team. And
Okay.
maybe we can start from someone who would like to share some ideas or some experience or some best practices, or otherwise then I don't know the best practices.
Okay. I thought that the topic of the week is that the Patrick Stewart is returning to the role of Picard.
Yeah, it's topic of the year.
Okay.
But I don't have much to say. It's one line news that Patrick Stewart is back. I think it's good.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah,
I'll
I
find
just thought
another
that
cool picture for the background of the stream, and in the
Patrick
meantime you can say
Stewart.
something.
So Doya, what do you think about the teams and how it's important to have a nice team?
From the point of view of a manager or from a team member?
I think you can check. I think you can try both roles. You can say what would you think as a team member and what would you think as a product manager or project manager or whatever manager.
Yeah, manager can try to collect a good team, yes, from the beginning, but I think the situation is such that needs to work with the people that are always already there. So just work with that is, and try to do his best with a team. I don't know. Team building is always good, yes, and the atmosphere in a team, yeah, it's an important factor. Yeah, everyone can try to influence on the team atmosphere, so management and the team members, they both can try to make it better. I don't know, sometimes beer in a pub works, sometimes some events, but sometimes nothing helps. Depends on people.
Yeah, and
Do you want to discuss some specific cases or?
Yeah, maybe we can start. We can think what would you do. So let's assume you have to assemble a team as a product manager. what would you think would be the first, I don't know, first steps, or maybe how would you pick a person inside the team, or which roles you would like to fill? I don't, I do not say something about the roles as a full stack developer or backend developer. I'm just saying how you will maybe divide persons, like the person who is responsible for the mood, or person who is responsible for knowledge, or something like that. So what do you think, how you would divide those roles and all that things?
Mm. Hmm.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I know. So maybe we can try to do that together as a team.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just thinking, if I would be, I would try to gather the stuff. First of all, I would think you need to divide a mood stuff. So you have kind of a mood aspect. So your team should be kind of fun, not too fun. So they should not turn the complete work into joke, but they still tend to be. They have to manage friendship, not a real friendship, but more or less a nice, just a nice relationship to each other. And on the other hand, you always have to keep in mind balance, skill balance inside your team. So maybe I will tell you more about what I think about skill balance. I think you always have to keep your team somehow equally balanced inside the skill. So it should not be that you have a huge gap between two or one super extra performance developer and two developers who are just starting, or they, I don't know, they have 2 or 3 years of software career or something like that, and they are trying just to bring the first steps. And then you have guys with, I don't know, 15 years, like super gurus or something like that. Sometimes it's good, it stacks good, so you have to check on the people how that will work. But sometimes it can be different, that you have a guys and they're doing a great job and they're just smashing all the tasks. And on the other hand, you have the guys who are completely depressed because they are not performed as well as their teammates. And that can be, quite hard. So I think the best case is always to somehow balance the team for skills, and maybe someone a bit higher or someone a bit lower, so not a big gap. And in that case, you can build a nice competition inside the team. So the one guy will check, oh, that guy is working hard. I can do the same because I'm not bad than him. I'm not super bad, and he will try to perform more. And so you have a continuous nice competition inside, a friendly competition inside the team. So that's what I think is quite important. A nice skill balance inside your team.
But
Mm.
like here, would say that like it's quite impossible. Like usually, like you get what you get. Like you cannot expect that all the people who comes with the same amount of experience, and you have to somehow to combine all different like levels. And I actually think it's okay, like because like more senior members, like in terms of experience, senior in terms of experience, can teach junior members, and it's like nobody would expect that someone who has 1 year experience would do the same amount of stuff that the guy who has 10 years experience do. So I don't think it would be so depressing for him. Like, and I believe it's would be on contrary quite rewarding, because like he would learn a lot in such situation, because like he have someone to learn from. And if you just collect 10 juniors,
Yeah,
like they all will stuck on the same stuff every day, and there is nobody to help them to overcome it. So I would like say there should be someone who can teach new fresh guys. And even
yeah,
like if you one have 10 years experience, there is something more experienced in the stuff that like he's not really experienced, because like 10 experience is also like you cannot have 10 years experience in everything. Yeah, something like this.
Yeah, the main point that if we're talking about the newcomers or juniors, that's a different case because you always have to come to kind of mentor that. But I think that's a bit different topic for team building because I think it's more connected to the mentoring and how you build the completely newcomer inside your team. And what I'm trying to talk that if you have a big difference, you always have to check with the person, or somehow you cannot just get someone who is lower and put the team with strong, nice guys who are, I don't know, smashing all the stuff on their way. You always have to check with the person because sometimes maybe not every person will struggle to learn everything, or not every person would like to be a rock star in the first 2 or 3 years. So it's always hard. You always have to search for this balance to not kill willing to learn or something like that. You always have to try to not, even if he would like to learn a lot and he would like to be as his nice colleagues who are 1,000 years experience or 1,000 awards or something like that, it can burn out the person quite fast. And I think that's something that you also have to count. I'm saying for sure, if you are in the real world, it's way harder. Now we're talking about how you have to manage a perfect team. In the real world, you have to work with what you have. And in that case, you have to try, I think you have to try still to make it balanced. I'm not saying, I'm just saying to not have a huge gap between the experiences. I'm just saying to have, and I think 3 or 4 years gap, it's quite nice. I think because you still have someone who is more experienced and you still have someone who can learn from another person, but not something that you have completely different mindsets or something like that. Because I think it's also, if you're close in your experience years, you also have kind of similar mindset about how the stuff is going on and how you have to behave inside the team or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, coming back to your initial stuff, like what would be a start of building the good team? Like I would say, the start should be done from the leader of the team, and like if you're talking about agile team, like I would say the product owner is the important factor, and it is a part of the team. Like this is important stuff that like he is a part of the team and not like just someone who comes and gives orders and goes away. Like because team needs like direction, that nobody falls apart during the way to the aim, so everybody knows like where we're going to, like, and if someone divert, like there is a soft hand that push him back. So there is like a point, central point of truth, like to understand where it's all going to, and it's like important that it's part of the team and not something that comes from the outside of the team, because like then nobody would believe in it or in the same, because like they think that it's come from outside and not something that they really believe in, because just an order, like it's just they come here to earn some money, so that's why they're doing this. It would work, but I believe it's much more efficient if it would be like more internal to the team. This part.
Yeah. Yeah, and for example, if we will say about the manager also as itself, maybe Zoya, would you have few words? How would you imagine the nice Scrum Master or in team manager or something like that?
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of different factors how the manager or Scrum Master can encourage the team. So, for example, for someone, the money is more important, and it encourages uh, this man. Or for some people, just credit or compliment are really important. So yeah, they need to find a case for every people what his encouraging factor, and work with it. For example, yeah, for some people, just a few words, how cool he's done his work is really a good motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to be a part of a team. Yeah, for some people it doesn't work. They need something more. For some people, the title, yeah, is important. Senior or not senior.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there are a lot more of these factors. So I pointed only three. Yeah, compliment, money, title. What else can be?
I think just some kind of appreciation inside the team, or maybe just sometimes just the nice words are quite works quite good. Yeah. So and yeah, maybe we can move more inside the dev team as itself. What will happen, or maybe we can have few more words from
Yeah,
about the manager.
can I say, for example, for a team, it's quite important, I think, to collect together and to spend time to talk to each other. Because, for example, in my team, it's the last days is not so. So before we had always this daily meetings, and we were talking all together what we are doing. And now we are not collecting all together anymore, and it's a little bit tough because when you talk to each other more, yeah, it's quite good. And I think even would be better if a team collects every week, for example, in a small meeting and discuss, I don't know, do some retrospection or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not in a code or not in a work, but in a way how the team was productive or something like this. Maybe once in month or something like this.
Okay.
So the communication is important.
Yeah. Well, for this, I would add like not only this, like just the fact that they gather, but also that they trust each other. Like, they trust that they're going in one direction and not that someone pulling their own stuff for some reason, like political games or anything. Like it's, I guess it's not that critical in software development because like there is not much politics in this stuff, but still like everybody believes that everybody is working hard and doing everything and not just coming and spending time on the work. So
yeah, I think that's right stuff. You're saying that everyone kind of has to trust to each other. That sounds good. I like that. For me, the question: how would you build that trust inside the team? Because, for example, if you have just assembled the team, for example, just imagine you have five or let's assume six random persons. So you have one product owner. Let's assume it's agile team. You have one product owner. You have one manager or scrum master guy, and you have four devs. And now the question, how would you build a trust? Because they didn't know each other before. Maybe they met a few times. They met a few times during the lunch or something like that. So what would you think will help them to build that trust? Will it be some team events? Will it be some talks? Will it be some workshops? So what would we pick for them?
I would say first of all open communication, that there is no like backside discussions about something or someone, that you know that nobody goes uh, directly to his boss if he doesn't like something. So and like if as a scrum master or someone, um, like I see that some team member comes to me and starts complaining about something, I need to like open this wound probably to everybody. Like, yeah, okay, it's quite tough to say that generally because like maybe it depends, but generally like to everybody who involved in this. So the team could solve this problem by itself and not by that somebody goes to boss and solves this problem through this boss, and so it will completely destroy the trust within the team. So the team should feel like that they have to, not have to, but they can openly talk with each other and solve the problem, and not like have to going to boss, or that someone that feels like he don't want to solve problem within the team and escalate the problem to higher level. So this I guess one of the worst things that destroying trust within team, like no communication inside the team, but communication always a high level. Then, yeah.
Yeah, and what do you think? What would help to build that trust inside the team?
In this situation, you mean?
Yeah, I'm asking Zoe
Okay.
if she can add something, or she would like to add something.
Yeah, you cannot really build a trust. I think there's some situations build a trust. So it depends on people how they react on situations. So so they need to be at least to make attention to other people and trying to understand them, and this makes it. So even if you are a little bit maybe stressed or annoyed by another team member, you should keep calm and try to understand him or try to express yourself and find compromises. This makes it trust.
Yeah. Maybe what do you think about the need of team events, to have something outside of the team, of the office? Now we're talking that it's quite important to have dailies. It's quite important to have retrospectives. It's quite important to have planning. So it's inside. Do you think it's important to have some unofficial events? I don't know, team event, or just, I don't know, hanging together to drink a couple of beers or something like that? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's important, and every manager trying to do it. Yes, I see. Not even if there are no some special money, so from company for it. Some manager tries to organize some grill parties or some I don't know, events, and even this birthday cakes. It's also kind of.
So it builds kind of culture inside the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So makes it more human. So I think it's quite important. I think everyone tries to do it.
Yeah, I would think like it's kind of important, but should not be pushy. Like the people are grown ups, so they when they feel like they are put in the sandbox to play, which is with each other, to be friends with each other, it will probably make more bets than good. But like eventually like some unofficial events is I guess helpful, because not everybody is such communicative that can like just come to people and ask if you would like have a beer and let's go in the evening to the bar, and like they need such events to like as a facilitation of communication. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds good. Maybe the one thing which is kind of connected to this event and possibility to have, because I think it's really quite nice when you have a possibility to gather together, to talk about something in one building and face to face or something like that. But what do you think about the distributed teams? Is it harder to build a nice team with a distributed team, or it's not really a big difference with just collocated team? And how much do you think collocation plays a role in the building a perfect team? Someone?
Okay. So I guess it's much more harder to have distributed team because like not seeing each other is like really difficult stuff. Just communicating via emails and like it's a lot of is lost. Like if sometimes there is some questions that you are going need to go to discuss in life and like even a phone call is not that helpful. Yeah, I just like yeah, communication is really important and like distributed team is communication is hard like and it's definitely make it all the communication harder and all tasks. Yeah, I would say it's co-location is a very important factor for the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also think this is important because maybe people even don't know who are there on the other side. They never see them, and they don't know how to communicate to them.
Or I think we had a nice example that sometimes it's even can be worse because someone can build a different imagination or a different kind of character in the online world, and then when you have offline meeting with your team, that it breaks a trust because you expected to have a different person or the person behaved as a different person in online world and in real life. And I think that's also something what it has to be managed and it's hard, but I think that's not the main objective there. So yeah. Maybe we can go more deeply into the roles in the dev team. I would think I maybe would like to ask some maybe whom would you like to collect inside your team as a person? So I'm not saying really about the roles. I'm saying more something. I can bring you an example. So, for example, one role could be a person who is highly interested in the details. So I would say every team needs a person who is too much into details. Small things, the person who will bring, I don't know, 1.1% to gain for your performance, or the person who would try to, I don't know, rename everything into the same naming schema or something like that, even if it's legacy stuff. So that's what I would think is one person which must have inside the team, the person who tries to clean everything up, try to finish everything till the end, and try to force team to be more accurate and more clean in the details. So do you have, if you do not agree, you can comment, or do you have any other roles or something, or persons inside the team which you would like to have next to you maybe?
Well, I would say here like uh, this role that are concentrated on details should be only a part of someone because like imagine the team that who's doing all the stuff and eventually comes someone who did nothing but just say okay this is not done, this is not done, this is not done.
No,
It will not create trust, so it would like I would say it's important trait but it should be like a part of someone like and
no,
hopefully a lot of people.
it's for sure. It should be just a part. It's clear. It should be just a part of the character of the person. For sure, it's not something that you have a cleaner who will just at the end of the project will fix everything and say that it's bad. It's more like that the person who will always try to figure out the small things and small details. So something like that.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I would say like some other important roles in the team is like someone. It's not necessarily a manager of a project or something like, but someone who have good overview of everything. Like there's someone who can maybe not answer all the questions, but he knows where to find the answer, like who can point to the direction where this information could be. Like I believe this is quite important uh, role, because like it's basically a communicator role. Like it connects all the parts within the project. Like if someone have doubts, go to him. Like not necessarily technical questions, or maybe like there is like two persons, like one that who has this technical knowledge, at least something about everything, and something about someone who knows organizational stuff that can answer non-technical questions. Well, this could probably would be a manager of a project. Something like this.
Zoya, do you have any candidates or something like that? Or some thoughts about that?
Candidates for what?
For the team. So as we discussed, now we need one person who is will do some work but be mostly in the details. Then we need one or two person who knows where to go, or more or less they are kind of like, I don't know, coordinators or the guy with the map, I would call that. You know, he knows where to go and where to ask the things and to have a nice overview. So maybe you can.
Yeah. I think it's quite important to have anyway to have one person in the team who will make the final decision. So if three or two people, they have different opinions and they do not know what is right, and no one knows, and when everyone is equal and everyone has its own opinion, it's hard, because someone should make, some tech leader maybe, I don't know, someone should take the responsibility to make the decision.
And by that you mean that is this like official position of end decider, or?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Official position, it's maybe good, but when it's no official position for this, and no such person, so maybe one person whom everyone respects and trusts, then it's kind of trouble, because then everyone can just say their own arguments and argue a lot, and for a whole time from universe just arguing. So someone, maybe it can be someone who have a lot of experience, and then he says just, okay, let's maybe try this, and others agree, then it's good.
Okay, so you're saying it would be nice to have someone who is kind of a judge in the things. So he is trustworthy, and he's just a nice person with some nice background, as I understood. So with no huge knowledge background, I don't know, knowledge base, and whom you can ask in tough times when there is no light in the arguing and discussing.
Yeah, so I don't know who make so like really important decisions in the team.
Yeah,
there's really no official position for this.
I think it's kind of interim leader or something like that.
Yeah.
I think if you have a team, it's always a point that you at some point you will have a leader because it's something like that. So maybe more roles or something like that which we can think of.
I would
Any ideas more?
just add to this like central decision maker. Like I would say it's important because otherwise too much conflicts could arise. Like, but it's really
Mm-hmm.
hard to do it without official thing because like eventually there would be a thing that even the authority of this team member would not uh, enough to overcome arguments of other team members, and so there should be like someone who has authority from the top to say like we're doing this, no more discussions. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's probably only for really hard cases
Mm-hmm.
should be done like this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I would say for me, the next possible person would be that inside the team, maybe you need someone who's so-called, I would call it kind of ice-breaking stuff, because it's especially if your team is not considered as a team who is doing always one thing, which is like day-to-day routine, and you never dive into new topics. I would say you need someone who will dive into new fast, who will rush the things and push the team with him or with her, so with that person. So someone who will always be on rush, or who will always be curious about jumping into unrevealed field or something like that. And I think that's always kind of hard. You always kind of have to make a trade-off as that person, where to go and what to do. But I think every team needs such a guy, because that kind of will reduce the possibility of like scary from or fear from unknown areas or unknown topics, or fear to start something new, because sometimes everyone has an issue with starting something new, especially with age. I don't know. And I think that's also the person whom I would like to have inside in my team. Yeah. So what do you think about that? What do you think about the person who is pushing forward the topics and just I don't know, just pushing other teams to dive more into new things and into next
As
project?
the hustler, someone who
The
hustles.
hustle. Yeah,
uh,
you can say it like that.
well,
So yeah.
I would say like it depends because on the type of the project, probably something that is new
Yeah,
and
that's for sure.
like it's probably important, but something that like is ongoing, like probably the stability is more important than trying something. Yeah, well, it's this importance of this role probably really depends.
Yeah, I'm just saying it depends for sure on what are you doing. If it's always a same thing, it's for sure true. Because, but on the other hand, it's always a huge chance that you will stuck with one thing as a team. You will stuck in forever maintenance or forever trying to do that as perfect as possible. And maybe sometimes it's nice to have someone who would say, "Oh, maybe we are done. Maybe let's go to the new project and let's try something there." So, and yeah, and it's always kind of like, you can always be fine with your old tools and old environments and all that, but and they will do the work for you, but you will always be like, yeah, it's fine, it's okay for me. I have old tools. They are doing kind of the work, but maybe you just don't want to know, or you don't know about something better or newer or something what will do the same work but even more efficient. And maybe that's where this role comes in handy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So some other roles which we would like to have, maybe, I don't know. Zoya, do you have any ideas what would be also quite nice?
Um, mm,
Maybe we can think in area of quality assurance things. Maybe we can think, do we need a guy who is more concentrated to double check everything after everything is finished?
Is it not the same that we talked
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
beginning?
maybe. I think that yeah can be the stuff.
Maybe we talk about the size of the team. How, like, we talked about the
Yeah.
roles that could be collected in one person. Well, not all of them, but several of them. What do you think? How much people should be in the team? What the number is efficient? What's not? Someone?
Yeah. So yeah, what do you think? Do you have any thoughts about the team size, and what would you think would be the best team
yeah,
size?
it should be like adequate, no more than 7 or 5 people, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 together with quality hands. But I think 8 is kind of too much. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I think
7
you
maximum, maybe, I don't know.
I think you agree that it partially depends on the project size.
Yeah, it may be good to have like divided teams. So when you have a big project and just several teams working on it.
Yeah, sure. I think that that's true. That it's depends on the project. Sometimes you would like to have a one big team who are working on the project. But for me, I would say I'm agree. I would say 7 persons, including a product owner and scrum master. It's a nice team size. I would say it's quite hard to manage more. I think you have product owner, you have scrum master, and you have 5 devs, which are combined. I don't know, DevOps and something like quality assurance guys. So yeah, for sure it depends on the project and how you would maintain your team. Yeah, I don't have something more to say in there. So, Sergey, what do you think? What's the best size of the team, and
Yeah,
maybe?
honestly, like, I'm not really sure. Like, I would say more than 10 is definitely too much. Like, it's not a team, it's
Mhm.
just collaborators. Uh, it's really like communication. Again, communication is a most important stuff, most important thing in the team. And when you have like 10 people to talk, like, it's suddenly become something like, I know, like some sense of intimacy is lost. Like, you are now in the crowd, you're not like a special unit. I don't know. Yeah, but like, yeah, the specific size, yeah, I guess it depends, really depends on the size of the project. And yeah, I would not able to say some specific number.
Yeah, it's true. It's completely true. I think it's hard to say a specific number. From my experience, I could say I had a small team which was 3 persons, and that's hard, especially when you have one person who is product manager, one person who is the lead kind of or scrum master, and you have one developer, and then the only one person is doing something for real. And that's hard. It really kills everything, and it kills complete fun. And you do not really have a team because you just have 2 guys who are saying what to do to the third guy. So it's weird. I also think have teams who are more than 10 persons, and that's a bit chaotic, I would say, because it's really hard to understand what's going on and and who is doing what and what you have to do and who will pick which task and all the things. And I think for me, the best part was 7 or 8 persons, I would say. That's kind of the best part. The most balanced size for the medium-sized project, I would say. It's kind of, by the way, it's kind of interesting question how the tasks are redistributed. Because I think the easy answer is when you have a special, the guy for the special things, and you're just redistributing. So I don't know, one guy is doing front end, you're doing front end task, and another one the back end and back end task and all the stuff. But when you have more or less equal guys inside the team, it's quite interesting how you would manage this tasks. Will you somehow think also about the personal interest of the guy? If I don't know, one guy is interested to learn the new part of technology, would you allow him to do that, or would you try to stick him inside his area? And how will you cross? Because I think, maybe we can start with that question, and then we can jump to another one. So what do you think? How is the best way to distribute the task inside the team?
Okay, I will start. Like, from my experience, like in what I worked in, like usually everybody has its own quite specific area of expertise, and like when like there is task appears, like everybody kind of know who will do this. Like, and this notion from Agile that software developer can do everything, like it's not only from Agile, but it's like almost officially pronounced. Like it's disappearing, like because like yes, it's expected that everybody could do everything, can able to do this, but eventually it's not like if you start to work on this specific part of the project, like you almost certainly will work on this. Like it's like what happens from my experience, and often like more junior team members, like they just don't have expertise, and like and for the company it's like it should be done fast, like so the junior will take some small tasks, like different tasks that like can be done even with no experience, and bigger stuff is on the senior members of the team, like because they can do it faster, like, and the company wants it fast. As usual, it should be done everything yesterday. So like I know, like this is what happens, like from my experience, like there is no way no need to assign the task. Everybody knows how it will be assigned. Yeah.
Okay. Zoya, what do you think about the task distribution and I don't know, allowance to pick your own task, to pull something if you want to learn something new? I don't know.
I don't know. So like, a team member can choose what he can do, or I don't know. In small teams, it happens like kind of naturally. Then people understand who they are the most so powerful points, so everyone knows what his strengths are. So, and they take they task in their regions, which they can do best. But in bigger teams, then anyway, I think some tasks are left and they are just distributed. Like, anyway, you need to do some work. The work should be done. And probably, I think that a team member there should have a possibility to choose a task. But when he chooses 1-2 tasks, and the third he became from the list just distributed. I think it's kind of fair.
Yeah, that's completely true. I would say that's right. Maybe one thing which I think it's also quite important to, if you have enough persons in the team, to have some kind of pairing. I'm not saying about the pair programming yet in that case. I'm just saying it's quite nice to have that you have a partner about the code reviews and understanding of the logic, that it's always, you always have the person whom you can handle or pass over the things if you will, for example, leave the company, or you always have, if you're sick, the PO or Scrum Master knows whom to ask about the things, who has at least some knowledge in that area. I think it's also quite handy to build such links inside the team that you have your partner or something like that. Maybe he's not actively developing inside your area, but he's maybe reviewing your code, acting like your pair programming partner, or at least he's always involved in the discussions about the design or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to discuss something more, or?
I think it's more than enough for that thing.
Nice topic.
Yeah, I think it's enough. Maybe next time we can more dig into the different extreme programming stuff. I would say maybe that would be interesting to know. Unfortunately, I never had such experience, so maybe someone else has, or someone else would like to have such experience. But that's, I think, the topic for next show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, by all the 0 viewers of the YouTube. Yeah. So, bye.
Have a
Bye.
good evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.